Hello, everyone. Good evening. I don't know why I said good evening, but I felt like the mood of it. But welcome back to another edition of the Orange and Blueprints podcast at Bio City Soccer. As your host, Manny Olivares, we're here about to get you another weekly update of good things dash NWSL women's soccer. But I'm not only here, I also got my boy Diego. Say hi to the people, Diego.
What's good? How's it going? Happy to be back. Happy to have another week. Even though we had no match day, this past weekend, but we had plenty to talk about on the international level. We had a debutante, and we had somebody coming back from injury in this international window. There's plenty to talk about despite the no NWSL match week, and so I'm excited to be here with the goat Manny, repping the Houston Dash like always. Again, still need to get myself an actual Dash jersey, and not the the training kit that I have. But I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. I know it's been sort of an off week, women's soccer. Of course, we're going to talk about some of the international windows, but also we always want to bring you an exclusive interview that Diego happened to sit down with Delanie Sheehan, with El Jefe Dustin, and so we'll bring that later on the program, and also we would like to before we conclude to bring the preview for the Angel FC game. I know it looked like Diego went dark over there. I was like, but we're good. We're good. We're good.
Very confused there.
Yeah,
Very confused.
but no further ado, I think we just have mentioned recap the international window that happened. We had three players for the U.S., one for Austria, one for Switzerland, and of course one for the Jamaica. Jane Campbell, Yasmin Ryan, and Ivy Patterson for the U.S. Sarah Putigam captaining the Austria team. Romana Bachmann, a call up for the Swiss, and also Kiki Van Zayten for Jamaica. All of them had a good minutes, good except for that. Anything that I think the most notably will be the U.S. women's national team. Any notable things you saw from their performance, especially from Yasmin Ryan and Avery Patterson for you, Diego?
I mean, we saw that Yaz was exactly the type of player that we see her being a player that gets herself in good positions. Admittedly, this is a Brazil team that played pretty well. They didn't necessarily play their best foot forward, but that wasn't necessarily the purpose of this group of friendlies. I think out of the three players that got called up, the one that we have to talk about, and I think we talked about it a little before the window, is Avery Patterson. She not only got herself the her first call up and her first cap and the first minutes under Emma Hayes, but she also got the start in the second match where the U.S. lost 2-1 against Brazil. And I mean, again, when I talked to Delaney, she went on about explaining how proud the team is of Avery, how hard she works, of how talented she is, and I think we're finally getting to see it on the international stage. A player that isn't on the U.S. team but did get a call up. We mentioned Bachman getting called up. This was exactly what we need to happen. The luck went our way, and we're able to get one of the most talented players on our roster more game time before coming back and getting reintroduced into this team. So I think, despite the headline originally being on Avery Patterson, we should pay attention to Ramona and take her minutes with her country and be happy about that situation.
Yeah. No, good mentions on those. I think, Yasmin Ryan, of course, I think her spot is kind of open right now for, absence on the forward line. And I think Avery Patterson, hopefully we get a little update on her knock. I know she left early on the second game. U.S. soccer, I think at the moment it's a concussion protocol. So,
Hmm.
but we'll see how it goes from hopefully tomorrow with Fabrice if he has any updates on her. It looked like it's just a black eye injury, but you just don't know on the surface. But
Hmm.
hopefully it's not that. I think the two notable players, I think for me of this window was of course Kiki Van Zanten. I think
Hmm.
coming off news broke out last week that she came off on Friday, that she came off the season injury list and reintegrated to the roster lineup. But of course, with her integrating, one had to leave, and the person that got the boot was to on loan was Amanda West. She left for to Toronto, back over in the Canadian League, and I think it was just really interesting because I think not saying that she was promised, but promising. But I think that her rookie season, she showed good grips, good depth, line, uh, but it didn't really get a good start. Just a lot off the bench appearances, goals. But I think that was the one that I think roster wise and cap wise, she had an international slot. You know, even though she was a rookie, but contract. I think something that uh, to give her more space for Kiki. And I think, giving, like you said, for Ramona, for having her get minutes, game time, even though she came in the sub for the second game, but at least it's something compared to in a competitive competition for her national team, and something hopefully uh, if they're willing to ship off loan off someone to have her integrated back in the team, I think it just shows what the coach and the club has for her. I think coming moving forward. I think the other player that was notably in this international window was Jane Campbell. I think coming into the Brazil game, I think it was have I think many people had her locked for the number one position, but she didn't play both games. Do you think is that a concern going forward, or do you think it's just maybe just Emma Hayes trying to find out more goalkeepers? I think because this is a position need filling. Who do you think, Diego?
Yeah, excuse the background noise. I was gonna make myself a nice cup of coffee while you went on the wonderful analysis. But I do think that this is no concern. Jane is is the number one goalkeeper for the time being, and the performance we saw, although a solid performance, by McLean, is not convincing enough for Emma Hayes probably to get rid of Jane Campbell as the number one. So I'm not really concerned. I think it's great for us. That means we get a rested Jane Campbell. We get a protected Jane Campbell. Um, so I don't think there's anything to be concerned about, because if we were talking about this U.S. women's national team as a team that really wants to compete and win and dominate, we wouldn't see Avery Patterson play such meaningful minutes. Not to
Mhm.
demean her as a player, but she's young. We saw a lot of young players play during these friendlies because Emma Hayes is smart enough to understand what friendlies are for, to put in new players, to mix around, to experiment. These are all things that we don't see the men's team do, and look at what they're doing. Because we're able to really introduce these young players into these games that have a lot of importance. I don't know if you're familiar, but there was a tweet, an Instagram post that was uh, put out of the attendance of the friendlies in SoFi versus the men's games. Th- that just shows this is a big game. That those two images side to side confirm what you and I have been saying since the very beginning. People care about the women's game through the international level. And so for Emma Hayes to be able to take this approach and to develop youth and to reintroduce these players, I think it's really good. And I think this has nothing to really do about Jane Campbell and more about Emma Hayes as a manager.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I think I've seen the tweet that you mentioned about the attendance between
Hmm.
the finals between either USA and and with Panama and versus now with the U.S. With Brazil. I think I will give that like a little asterisk because just because of how CONCACAF, I think they're mentioned as well at ESPN. Like, it would you should take it with a grain of salt because the first one with men's is with CONCACAF hosting the event. It's because it's a two-legged game. USA with Panama and then Mexico with Canada. Of course, what's going to be sold out is going to be the Mexico
Mhm.
national team. So it's not like people buy one ticket for one game and leave, and the other people that bought the second ticket come in. It's like two for one. So it's like, of course, who's going to sell out the Mexico fans, Mexico, the people that support the Mexico national team. So it's going to be sold out for them. But I think what should not be taken with a grain of salt, it's how much the attraction of the women's game, like you mentioned. SoFi is a huge stadium. SoFi is a huge
Mhm.
stadium. It's meant for men's sports, but having that attendance for a women's game is massive. Is massive, especially with the news last week breaking out that USA is going to host the 2031. I have not. I have to stop saying 20. So 2031 World Cup because now we're in the 30s now. 2031 World Cup,
That's
and
crazy.
and so with that in mind, SoFi will likely will be a huge destination, maybe the final. So with that attendance, but it's something to look about, something to think about. But I think going back with Jane Campbell, I think one report from ESPN from Jeff Kassouf, he mentioned that Emma Hayes quote is like, give the example of Alyssa Nair. You know, she took a while to claim that one number one spot from a legend of Hope Solo.
Mhm.
Like that's too huge. Hope Solo was the number one for the longest time, and then Alyssa Nair had to compete with other goalkeepers for her number one spot. So it's could be the same process. Jane Campbell, like you say, has competition with McGlynn, with the goalkeeper from Man U. I always forget her name because it's always a long name. Uh,
Mhm.
Toys Joyce, and then of course Casey Murphy, who hasn't been called up at all for a while, but
Mhm.
she has international experience. And you never know. You never know. Next year there could be another U.S. women's goalkeeper that be up and coming. So there's always got to be battle for your spot. But I think overall, it's a good international window for the Dash, a good
Mhm.
international window for everyone. Just hopefully tomorrow we get an update with Avery and see that. But I think for you, Diego, you think I know we weren't there in attendance for Mexico versus Jamaica here
Mhm.
in the Charlotte Stadium, but do you feel like there's an uptick now for women's soccer after this international window in the U.S.?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think women's soccer has been on the rise ever since, I would say ever since the NWSL was founded, and I understand that that's long before I came into this world. Or I think so. Yeah.
The
Um,
NWSL is about 10 years old, but the one before the I can't
I'm
remember.
thinking about the one. I'm thinking about the one beforehand, but since the NWSL's modern time, we've seen a spike in women's soccer, and I understand that it's really hard to see it considering the Dash's attendance these past couple of years. But we got to remember, we sold out Shell Energy Stadium for our first ever playoff game. I
Mhm.
have no doubt in my mind that if we make the playoffs, we're going to do it again. And
Yeah.
then you see the Dynamo struggle to get seats and in the biggest games of their calendar. I think women's soccer as a whole on the developmental level, on the college level, I've seen a lot of this, and on the professional level has seen so much growth in the United States. And seeing these games like Mexico versus Jamaica, or the games at SoFi, these games are bringing women's soccer from being a niche to being the mainstream, from being the hot topic in the sports world. And I think this is what they deserve as athletes, but also it's great opportunity for fans to engage in the sport that they care about in a new way.
Mhm.
I think you can attest to this better than me, that you've been to soccer games all your life, and you can tell there's a different experience when it comes to going to a Dynamo game and a Dash game. And
Mhm.
so it's an opportunity for these fans that go to Dynamo games, that don't go to Dash games, to experience the sport in a new way. In whatever people say, in a better, worse way, I don't. That's not for me to say. That's for the individual fan experience to say. But for fans to be able to get that different experience, it's invaluable. And I think the Dash's product on the field has always been fun, has always been a good style of play. And now that they're actually getting results, I think it speaks for itself. And I think
Mhm.
this international window just shows it. I think people do want to watch women's sports, and now we're finally giving people an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good the one I was talking about, it was the
Mm,
the WPS, and then the one before
mhm,
that was the WUSA, which
mm.
was the first women's soccer league here in the States. But I think, I think it's a good uptake. It's a good showcase. I think the Dash women's soccer USA, if they continue that rise, I think by the time we hit the 2031 World Cup, I think it's gonna be the all-time high. You know, and I think it's gonna be more attraction, more influx, and more I think more revenue and more awareness than it ever be. I think a lot of people by then will have more fans to show up, and I'm excited for it. So it's gonna be real good for everything. But before we go on and preview our preview for the Angel City FC game, we Diego sit down with Delanie Sheehan and talked about this window, but also about the Dash season so far. So we're gonna have a listen to that right now.
Welcome back to Orange and Blueprints by City Soccer. We are pleased to be joined today by Houston Dash midfielder Delanie Sheehan. Delanie, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
All good here as well. Delaney, you're settling into your first season with the Houston Dash, so I should ask you, how's life in Houston going? Have you been able to settle in nicely? Talk to us a little bit about your experience so far here in Houston.
Yeah, I'm actually really, really enjoying the Houston area. I didn't really know what to expect coming to Houston, Texas. I've never really been anywhere outside of coastal areas. So, yeah, I've actually been pleasantly surprised. I'm really enjoying the area. I'm settling in nicely. I'm originally from California, so I keep saying it somehow feels more familiar to me than Jersey. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying the area.
So you came to the Dash, you mentioned this offseason after 4 years with Gotham. What was it about Houston, the project here with the Dash, that interested you in coming here?
Yeah, I think for me it was just a whole new challenge. And this club really had a vision of wanting to build something, and they saw that I was a good fit for that. So I think, yeah, it was just a whole new challenge for me to take on.
And you mentioned it that you've been really located in the types of coasts in California and in also New Jersey. Um, can you talk about a little bit about how those chapters have influenced you throughout your career? You also played a little bit in Paris, so I mean, a bunch of the biggest markets in the world. And so, how do you think that that's led you to here now with the Dash?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest difference would be playing in the US versus playing overseas. That was a big, huge difference for me. Playing in big cities in LA and New Jersey, New York, like I'm also not a big city girl, so I would have never expected myself to love those places and enjoy them as much as I have. So it wasn't necessarily about the location for me, it was more about the club or the school and playing for them versus like the big city and the location. But yeah, I think the biggest difference would be like obviously out of country versus in country.
We've got to talk to Fabrice a lot, your new coach. He seems to be very tactical. He's a very bright mind when it comes to soccer, right? What is something you've been working on with him and the staff this year to just, on your side, just improving your game?
Yeah, like you mentioned, he's extremely tactical, and I also love that aspect of the game. I thrive in learning tactics, and I think that's a part of my game that really sets me apart or helps my game. So just being able to work with him on certain things like positioning, even, just positioning, holding my positioning, timing of movement, all that. It comes down to the very small details. And I think we've done a good job of trying to go over that. And he's really helping me learn those little moments and those little differences that make a huge difference.
And I mean, it does seem that, especially throughout your career, you've been playing in the midfield and in the attack, and being able to positionally like stay in those spaces can be a little difficult, especially considering how free flowing the game is. So, do you have a favorite role between the two? Or do you just enjoy that kind of flexibility that allows you to really go forward or drop back into the midfield?
Yeah, I do really enjoy the flexibility of it, but I also enjoy learning how to operate within different systems. So on my previous team, it might have been a little bit more free flowing. We were really into rotations. I was kind of like organized chaos was what we called it. Whereas here, now I'm enjoying how to stay disciplined and hold my position and just kind of operate within the system. So I like the flexibility of both, but I really just enjoy as well, like learning what every team wants in the role for me with that team.
We've seen a lot of veterans at this Dash team, right? A lot of you guys that have won trophies and been at big clubs. How important is that as you guys build up this, build up the Dash, basically having these veterans and these players that have won things before to lean on?
Yeah, when you said that, it was just funny because if I'm considered a veteran, I'm like, oh my gosh.
No,
So I was kind of
you're
laughing.
still.
I got so distracted. But yeah, I think having like a huge range of people who have won things. I mean, we have international players. We have So Schmidt, Jane Campbell, Yasmin Ryan now at the international level. I mean, we have a lot of winners on this team and a lot of people who have seen so many different levels in different games. So just being able to bring that experience with some young ones that we brought in, like Maggie Graham, having an amazing season already. So I think a team to have that leadership and those voices and people who have done it, like myself, obviously winning a championship as well.
And with your adjustment to Houston and seeing all these new faces and all of these experienced faces, what sets this Dash team apart from other teams that you've played against as a squad? Because a lot of what we've been hearing is that you guys have had such a good vibe as a unit, as a team. And so, talk to us a little bit about like what sets the Dash's vibe apart from other teams that you've played against or with.
Yeah, I was going to say culture. That's like the biggest piece that comes into my mind. This group just has like an innate connection already. Like it's not something that you have to work on here. It's just kind of natural for this group. These girls have already done the work of leaning on each other. Like obviously Dash has been through it, so that really bonds people, and they welcomed us all as new players with open arms and have seamlessly brought us into that culture. And so that's for me is a huge piece that separates Dash from any other team I've been on. And then besides that, going into the culture, it's also on the field that everybody works hard, everybody's willing to work for the team. There's no one bigger than the team. So that's just been really refreshing here.
So looking ahead, you guys coming off the international break, a number of players. You talked about internationals with their national teams, but you guys got to practice a little bit. How important is this week been for you guys as you continue to learn under Fabrice and the new staff and getting ready off that last match against Gotham?
Yeah, this past week has been huge for us. I mean, we came off of our game against Gotham, and I mean, if you watched, I don't think it was our best performance as a team. So just kind of being able to regroup and look at where we broke down or what we wanted to keep doing. This week has been huge for that, and I've been grateful to have the time to really regroup and reconnect, and now we're ready for the next one.
And I just have a quick question because we did see a first timer in the U.S. camp in Avery, one of your teammates. Tell me how you feel for her and how the team is rallying around her. We saw that
not only her, but Kiki got a lot of support in her recent game, her first game back from injury. So, I mean, talk to us a little bit about how those recent call ups have given a lot of motivation to the team.
Yeah, I mean, Avery obviously is an amazing player. I think the thing that sticks out for me is her work rate and how she plays both sides of the ball extremely well. I mean, just seeing any player who has worked that hard be called up and have a debut and really get the recognition they deserve is amazing to see. So we're just all super proud of her and super happy for her. I mean, Avery deserves everything. So yeah, and then for Kiki, her injury has been really, really tough. She was out for a long time. So I obviously didn't know her for the beginning of it, but coming into the team and seeing how hard she's worked to get back on the field, I think it's just been really special for her to be called back into her camp and get those minutes.
Diego, go ahead.
Okay. No, you're good. So you have a big game coming up. You talked a little bit about how Gotham wasn't necessarily the best team performance, and you've got a big one against Angel City. What's the mentality of the squad coming into this match, and how important is it for you in order to get the first home win of the season?
Yeah, I think it's really important for us just to stick to doing what we do. I mean, that's no matter the results of the game, we want an identity where we stick to what we do. So same thing, looking at Angel City, we're just going to stick to who we are, what we do. We want to possess the ball. We want to press. We want to stay in our shape and stay organized. So yeah, I think going forward, that's just our mentality of getting back to that and seeing where it broke down against Gotham. And I think we've done a good job against that. And then getting those first 3 points at home will be amazing. I mean, every game, I think we've been in every game. We've been right there. So we're just dropping a couple points here and there, but to get that first home win will be really, really important.
So Delanie, before we let you go, a couple rapid fire questions for you, so
Okay.
we can know you better. So we've seen a lot of the Dash players, big coffee. You guys are a big coffee team, right? What's your go-to pregame?
A latte, or actually, no, that's not true. On game day, it'd be a cappuccino with oat milk. Yeah, if I drink coffee on game day.
Okay. So, are you a music person before game? What's on your playlist currently?
Yes, anything kind of rap, hip hop. Yeah, just the usual pregame hype.
Yeah, just something to get the blood flowing.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
So, as a kid growing up, I'm sure you watched a lot of soccer. Who are some players, even athletes from other sports, that you've haven't inspired you?
Yeah, well, there's so many. Obviously, my favorite player, it's basic, but that's Messi. Yeah, so he's my favorite player. I watched so many highlights and clips of him growing up. Busquets is another one I like to watch. Currently, Cole Palmer. And then on the women's side, I love watching Tobin Heath, Carly Lloyd, all growing up. And then Kobe Bryant was a huge influential athlete in my life. So, yeah.
So I know you haven't been here long, but favorite spot so far in Houston? Maybe restaurant, anywhere.
Oh, definitely the taco trucks. I've missed Mexican food in Jersey, so any taco trucks here. There's one called, I don't even know what it's called, but it's on West Alabama. That's my favorite one.
Can't go wrong with a good taco truck.
Cannot go wrong.
Okay, last one. This might be controversial, but Dash, very stylish team. Who's got the most style in the locker room right now?
You know, I'll say it's between Meech and Yasmin Ryan.
Fair.
Yeah, I gotta put those two up there at the top. We have a lot of other ones. Dee, obviously, Jane. You know, anyone that puts a fit together usually pulls it off. So whoever tries hard has done great.
There you go. She is Houston Dash midfielder, Delanie Sheehan. Delanie, we really appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Diego, I know you were taking charge of that whole interview. Any thoughts?
That's El Jefe. That's El Jefe right there. That's El Jefe, man.
I know. He took it. It's a good interview for both of you. I think, my first initial thoughts, I think, she really explained a lot about, I think the team's mentality. I think that's the first, draw you get from that interview. It's just how the team is, the unity of the team and the team willingness to do more. I think I think emphasize of how the group is close together and trying to look forward for the next game and try and get their first 3 points here at home. I think their first goal and the first episode towards a better season, continue the momentum they have. And any thoughts of you? I think after hearing the interview again, any takeaways?
Yeah. Something that I mentioned in the Bayou City Soccer group chat is that I did not realize that my mic's audio was so bad. That is that's quite fun. But regarding the actual content of the interview, I thought you said it perfectly. I think this core and this community that we've seen the Dash build is one of the most important things that we have been lacking in these past couple of years. And we've said this before, the team did not have an identity, and now we're finally seeing it come to fruition. And we don't know necessarily what that identity is, because it's been what, 4 games for Fabrice, 3 games. It's been like a very, very small sample size, but we know for a fact now that there is a culture that is building internally within the Dash camp. And I mean, Delanie, from her adjustment at Houston, I hope to be joining her very soon, going from New York, New Jersey to back Houston, because it's really cold here. But yeah, like, her adjustment, her ability to really from day one be here and dominate, and like be such a great partnership with players like Maggie Graham, and really be that veteran presence. Sorry, Delanie. Um, I know you're not just quite yet a veteran, but you do have enough experience to be able to really, really rally on this team. And I'm this kind of interview is what makes me happy for the future of the Dash.
Yeah, I think this interview is a good interview just to, I think, to see that. I think just how people are willing to come here. I think after seeing maybe the last two performances after the playoffs, it just felt like the team went to a nosedive. But there's still interest. Players do want to come here and show their talent here. So it's a good interview overall. And I think
Mhm.
like we mentioned in the chat, we're still looking for that taco truck from West Alabama. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, like, I don't drive by West Alabama often, but granted, I don't drive often anyway at this point. But when I do, and when I'm in Houston, yeah, I gotta reach back out. I gotta go down to Houston and ask Delanie, hey, have you been to that taco truck lately? That's weird, but I need to figure out that spot. I need to figure out that spot for sure.
Yeah, I got felt. Yeah, I know. I think it's also like the taco trucks. They don't sometimes if you don't miss it, you don't see the name, but it's somewhere in West Alabama. So we have to get our research
We
in.
gotta scour the street.
Yeah, we gotta find which one. I bet if it's a high market area, it's more
Yeah,
than one taco truck. So,
yeah.
but I think other than that, I think it's good. She gives hype for Avery Patterson, how everyone's proud of her, and everyone looking for that first win. So going to looking for that first win, the first game back to the NWSL. The regular season's coming back this weekend, and they face Angel City FC, and it's going to be on Saturday at 4 p.m. Local time. So City FC, the record so far is 1 win and 2 draws. So they have 1 point ahead of the Dash. Uh, Notably, I think the players you want to look out for Angel City, of course, Alyssa Thompson. I remember one game, post game, we asked Sophie Schmidt how how they handle Alyssa Thompson, and she's like the short fast one, yeah, the fast one. That's what I was like. So I think this season, I think she has stepped up her game a lot. And of course,
Hmm.
she's not alone. She has her sister Giselle Thompson, who plays right back, who equally is quick and competitive, and is sprinkling with veterans like Claire Emelsi, and also from Katie Zellum in the midfield as well Sarah Gordon, and a lot of good players as well. A well, I think, constructed team coming from last season. How do you feel about the Dash going into this game with Angel City?
Yeah, I mean, gonna be a tough match, but it's a winnable match. We've seen these first couple of games that we can compete against the league's best, and this is really our opportunity to show it. Just like the Washington Spirit game, just like I would argue the Chicago game. Despite Chicago not being that good of a team, we showed that we really put a top team performance. If that makes any sense, we showed it against Gotham despite having a bad performance. But looking forward to Angel City, 4 of the first 6 matches between Houston and Angel City have ended in draws. So if history has anything to play into it, we will most likely see another one. But the but I mean, I expect a lot. I expect some goals. I don't expect this to be another 0-0 draw, especially after Gotham. To expand a little bit about how long out of this all-time series there have been ties in 500 of the 530 minutes played over the 6 meetings. It's been a tie. And Angel City is unbeaten through the first 3 matches for the first time in their history. Which, I mean, hot start for them. So they're definitely going to want to keep exploring that uncharted territory when it comes to winning early into the season. And I mean, they're going to look at this as a game that they should be winning. Natalie Jacobs, we've been talking about her and her elite defensive game. She won all 12 duels against Gotham, the first Dash player to contest 10 or more in since the data was beginning to be collected. And yeah, I'm trying my best to be a Joey Stats here, but it's going to be a good game. It's going to be an exciting one for sure. I think Alyssa Thompson, the Thompson sisters are going to wreak havoc. We know that. Somebody that I do expect to see a little bit more dominance in is Yaz. I think this game is going to deal a lot about speed. So players like Avery Patterson, like Yaz, they're going to have to utilize that speed, especially because Angel City have shown throughout their history to be a very rough transition defensive team. When they're on the break, they often don't get back quick enough to really stop those attacks, and so we're really going to have to rely on that speed in order to punish them. But yeah, I'm struggling to think of a score prediction here. So I'm gonna relay off to you to give me some more time to think. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I think you hit on the point about on a previous occasions how the two teams faced Angel City and the Houston Dash. I think those stats are kind of irrelevant because both teams have moved on from the way they play, and both of the teams with the addition of new additions, new players growing up. I think the I think the biggest test for the Dash is how quick they could get on their game off in the first minute, because my real danger will be, of course, it will be Alyssa Thompson. Reason why she's has scored 2 goals so far in the NWSL in the first 3 matches, but her game involvement didn't stop there. Her game involvement continued, and the international break, was involved 2 goal scoring opportunities, and for the USA. So, but all of them quick off of kickoff. There she was really at it. With her speed, her pace to get inside behind the defender. So I think that's something that the Dash should need to be aware of going to the game. Alyssa Thompson is not afraid to run this season. She looks more mature, more confident. Still not refined, still raw in her talent. She's only just turned 20, So she's still really, really raw, but it's
She's
her.
just 20. Oh my goodness. I'm older than Alyssa Thompson. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
you also gotta remember she started playing as soon as before she graduated. So,
Yeah, graduating high school. I remember that.
yeah, yeah. It was her senior year. It was her senior
It
year
was
that
her
she
senior year, and Angel City swooped her up. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And so and also her sister Giselle. This is her second year as well. You know, so
Unbelievable.
so it's like as same thing as just as Alyssa. Under senior year got swooped up for Angel City. So it's still players at a young age develop me in the professional level and getting started. So, and these players are getting confident, and
Hmm.
so I do see like it's going to be a hard challenge for the dash, but like you said, I think it's going to be a more transitional game. It's going to be a
Hmm.
lot of counterattack. So if the dash knows how to defend them and be quick on them and be a threat, I think the Dash can overtake this Angel City squad, but it's gonna be a lot of ifs. It's gonna be a lot of okay, if they can execute, can they manage? But we'll see. We'll see how the game turned out. But I think I give you a lot of time, Diego, for a prediction. Any prediction on this game now that you have a quick time to think about it?
I think our goals are going to start coming. I think. Well, okay. This is a huge if. If Avery Patterson is healthy and good to go to play some minutes, we're winning 2-0.
All right.
If she is not, we're going to tie 1-1.
Okay. All right. I think it's a good analysis on that. I think it just really I think not saying that Avery Patterson is the all and all to be all, but it just shows her impact on the team. You know,
Hmm.
I think the team looks different without her. In transitional play and forward play and even
Hmm.
defending covering spaces. So she's very vital. Of course, if she doesn't play, we still have Westfall, but who
Hmm.
we haven't seen, so we just don't know what she will give in a team. But it's just a huge question mark regarding her coming into this game. But I think I will go with 2-1 uh, for the dash. I think I expect another Maggie goal. So,
I
but
like that. I like that. I like that. That's a
but
good pick.
I do expect hopefully Diana Ordonez
Hmm.
to come off the bench and score.
Okay.
So I don't think she starts. I think she
No,
comes
I
out.
don't think she starts as well.
So I think she comes out the bench and scores to get her back in rhythm with the team. But it's gonna be real tight. I feel like it's gonna be. I think of all the games that we saw so far in the NWSL, I think this is gonna be the one that's gonna be really high pressure. Even I think the last game, when they face Angel City at Angel City at LA.
It
You
was
know,
a massive game.
yeah, I think the only game that really defined it was a Paige Nielsen goal, off the
Yeah.
corner. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be something like that, really intense,
Hmm.
very back to back. Um, yeah, I think it's the whole. I think the whole difference is gonna be one goal, and it's just gonna be like that. It's gonna be neck to neck, but I think like the game, both games is gonna be wide open. I think they have to be wide open, and
Hmm.
to punish this Angel City FC game. But we will know. We will see Saturday at 4 p.m. here at Shell Energy Stand. So hopefully you get your tickets. Hopefully everyone
Yeah.
comes out and
Get
has a
your
good.
tickets. Get your tickets. If you can't come to the game, like me, who unfortunately can't go to the game, NWSL Plus is going to be streaming it.
Yeah, and there's a
It's
plus
free.
on.
It's free. So watch it. Watch the game. There's no excuse. It's free. All you got to do is make an account. Support your dash. Support uh support women's soccer in Houston. This is going to be a huge game. Houston, LA. We know what happens when these two cities collide, and we'll find out who ends up winning the battle on Saturday.
Yeah, You don't got NWSL, you have Paramount Plus and the Golasso network
Hmm.
as well online. So that's free as well without no signing up as well. So you have very options to do it. So, but it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be. I think out of the weekend's game, I think let me check real quick. Out of the weekend's game, I think this is gonna be one of the most entertaining ones out of the NWSL matchup. I think so. If- I think so. Oh no, I think San Diego and Kansas City. Never mind. That night, that night,
That's a
night
massive game.
that's gonna be a crazy game to watch. I think that'll be the other one. Yeah, I think that'll be the other
Mhm.
one. I think the Houston Dash versus Angel City and the San Diego. I think two big games will be on Saturday, and I think those could be a very very high competition game. So to look out for. But hopefully, if the Dash gets the win, they move up in the table, move higher in playoff, and see and be more secure. And I think of a win will give them a huge statement around the league that the Dash are here to compete and to challenge. So, but
Mhm.
that's all we have for today for our podcast for the Orange and Blueprints. We'd like to appreciate everyone for stopping by live or on our podcast, wherever you get your podcast. But please always look us up at biocitysoccer.net, on X, on BioCity Soccer, Instagram, and YouTube. We'd like to thank Ugly Guppy and Elotes Bravos for everything, for sponsoring us. Anything you want to say, Diego, before we wrap up?
Shout out to my goat, my one and only goat, Manny Bellafor. Go follow him. Go shoot him love. Go support the goat because he deserves he deserves the love. So go support Manny. Always happy to be here. Always happy to talk some Houston Dash. Um, and I'm still inching my way, aching my way to go to a game in person. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm so excited to go to a game in person.
Yeah, so it's gonna be more interesting games. If you're not hyped up for that game, for Angel C, hopefully we next week we'll recap that. The week after that, KC versus the Houston Dash.
KC.
So these games are coming thick and fast and harder and harder. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. It all depends on the result for this weekend. If the Dash gets a good
Mhm.
result, it'll be off where we go. But thank you for everyone for stopping by, and we'd like to always watch out and always forever orange.